had to replace the roof. They had water damage. And Citizens said, sorry, your deductible's $50,000. Come back to us once you've hit that mark, and then it's time. So that became a huge issue.
Yeah.
And so that's why something that I focus on as an agent is making sure people are getting the value out of the insurance.
Okay.
The insurance is a valuable product.
Key West Porch Talk, your home navigator. From the keys to the seas, it's all a thrill. With Ruth, your trusted realtor.
Welcome to Key West Porch Talk. This is Ruth, your Keys to the Seas realtor in sunny Key West, Florida, with Lafreno Real Estate at 1120 Duval Street, down in right downtown Key West. Come and see me. Anyway, you can listen to the podcast on YouTube and Spotify. New episodes drop on the 1st and the 15th. And today we have a guest, somebody that I invited him here to discuss some real estate industry issues and support systems with the insurance industry. And it turns out that he really has more notoriety in his personal life than he has in his insurance life. So without further ado, let me introduce Chris Louchheim. Louchheim. And I'm going to, since I threw that tidbit out, I'm sure people are going to want to know why and what I'm talking about. So Chris, welcome.
Thanks, Ia. Thanks for having me. I guess you were referencing, there was an article for Father's Day, the Citizen.
Yes.
I was one of the featured fathers on there about our life. We have 8 kids.
You have 8 children.
We have 8 children. There was a bit in there about our life and how we ended up in Key West and what it's like.
Our listeners are going to want to know a little more about that, but having 8 children is not very common these days.
Nope.
It's with today's world the way it is, and I know we're going to want to know a little bit why about that, and then of course a little bit about your business because you do real estate insurance, which is very important to us here in the Keys.
Yeah.
So give us a little tidbit just about the children and the wife and the family, and then we can move into insurance issues.
Yeah, so my wife and I have been together for 29 years. We met in high school. She is actually a conch, born and raised, and I grew up in Philadelphia. She ended up going to a prep school up in Philadelphia that I was at, Westtown, where we met in high school, and we have been together pretty much ever since. We had a baby very early, right after graduating. That was our first, Zoe. She's 27 now, and been married for 22 years, and we love being parents and raising a big family. It's just kind of come naturally to us, and so we now have Zoe is 27, Emma is 22, Max is 18, Jackson is 15, Oliver's 12, Elsie's 10, Rosalie is 5, and Sylvie is 3.
Wow, that's good. That's great. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, you look so young to have 8 children.
We started early.
Yeah. Well, you have built-in fun, don't you? You always have something going on.
Yeah, and they're fantastic together. Our oldest, Zoe's down here as much as she can be. She lives in Tampa now.
Nice.
But, she's here as much as she can be, and the little ones absolutely adore her. Every time she comes home. Same with Emma. Max just graduated from high school, so he's figuring out adulting now at this point. And we're just, it's just a very happy, enjoyable experience. My wife and I work very well together with the kids.
That's fantastic. So. It's a nice story. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your personal life. And now, so like I told our listeners, you do real estate insurance.
Yep.
So you have been in the insurance industry how long?
23 years. Started when we were
Great.
living in Vermont. I've been a licensed agent for 23 years now. We moved to Key West about 8.5 years ago, and started right away down here. It's a very different world down here than it is up there.
I'm sure it is.
So took a little time to learn what it's like down here, and then jumped right in.
Yeah, insurance is different. But before we talk about the differences, let's talk about the types of insurance
Yeah.
that we have
Yeah.
for
So
homeowners.
I'm with Insurance Office of America,
Yep.
and we do pretty much everything. Um, we do property and casualty, which that's your homeowner's insurance, your wind insurance, your flood insurance, and then auto and liability. We also offer life, health, and disability, although that's not much as much of a focus for us. And then Insurance Office of America is also one of the largest commercial providers in the area, commercial insurance providers.
Right.
So the condo associations are all covered, not all, but we have a lot of the condo associations.
You have a lot of their
down.
policies.
Yeah, a lot of that sort of stuff under our commercial brand.
Sure, sure. Great. That's good. Actually, I have my homeowner's insurance with Insurance Office of America, but I didn't go through you. I went through another agent a few years back. But now I know you. So that's great. We talked, let's see. So the main ones that our homeowners, when they're buying a home living here in the Keys, will have homeowners insurance, wind insurance, and flood insurance.
Yep.
So I would like us to talk a little bit about the differences of each of those insurances, because a lot of our listeners get confused about why they need all these different insurances.
Yeah, so unlike most areas of the country, home insurance down here does not include wind for most people. So wind and hurricane coverage has to come somewhere else. Homeowners insurance is fire, theft, liability, vandalism, leaking pipes, water backup. Your standard, what you think of with home insurance is all covered under a home policy down here. The wind and hurricane, for most people, goes through Citizens,
Right.
Which is our insurer of last resort, state-run, state-owned provider who will give it when nobody else will. It's not always a joy to work with them, but it is, for most people, our only option.
That's right.
We're one of the few carriers in the Keys that actually provides coverage through another company called Frontline.
Yeah, they didn't they just release the ability to have some private insurers outside of Citizens in the state of Florida.
Yes. So Frontline is an actual, like, we can write new business with them, and they actually do combine the wind and hurricane with the homeowner's insurance.
Oh, wow.
And for a lot of people, it's actually a better option.
I might be talking to you.
Yep. It is, they have a more strict underwriting standards than Citizens, so not everybody works for what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
But when you do work for what they're looking for, they are a great company to work with. And I know we're pretty much one of only 2 agencies that can write with them.
Oh, great.
In
That's
Monroe
excellent.
County.
Great.
So that's a great option for a lot of people. But then, the private carriers that Citizens has allowed into the market, that's through, and this is one of the major changes. I don't know if you want to wait for that to talk about that later.
No, go ahead.
All right.
We're on a roll.
All right. So Citizens has started very heavily working on what they call their depopulation program.
Mm-hmm.
Citizens was only ever intended to be a small company that provided an option for people who couldn't get insurance anywhere else. Unfortunately, in Florida, that's become a problem for a lot of people.
Yes.
Not just in the Keys.
And it's not because of the people, it's because of the fact that we have hurricanes and the location of the homes.
And the insurance carriers are getting cold feet about writing insurance in Florida. So there's that aspect, but then there's also an aspect of a lot of people just went with Citizens because it was the cheapest option. And so a lot of agents are putting people with Citizens when they really had other options.
Oh, wow.
And so Citizens went from being what was intended to be a small, last resort to being one of the 10 largest insurance companies in the country, which the state obviously has a big problem with because the state's on the hook for claims in the event of a major hurricane or anything like that. So they've started pushing their depopulation program, which is essentially they have allowed small, brand new private insurance companies to come into the market, go through their book of business, and basically cherry pick what they feel like are the best risks that they would like to take onto their own book.
Oh, wow.
And so those depopulation
So they take the higher risk.
They take the lower risk off of Citizens books.
Right.
So they're taking the ones off. In some ways, it's natural selection is not great because if the higher risk ones stay with Citizens, then
we still are at risk.
Yes, of course.
They're still at
but
risk.
At least it's taking as much off of their books as they can.
Right.
So those other carriers now are coming in and taking on. They're called takeout carriers.
Oh, okay.
Because they're taking out the business.
Yeah, I've been reading about them.
So
coming in.
A lot of people have been I just got depopulated by Citizens myself
Oh,
with another company, and that's basically it's been happening with a lot of people. And Citizens has a rule basically that if the premiums with the new company are less than 120% of what you get with Citizens, you have to leave. You have to go with the takeout carrier. You cannot stay with Citizens,
oh, wow.
and you cannot go back to them for 36 months.
Right. And then if you
So
do go back, don't they charge like a higher rate or something?
no, they don't. But you're still at risk of just being depopulated again.
Right.
So
Right.
they can just send you right back out.
And these new carriers are just as good when it comes to the coverage. Yes, no?
When it comes to coverage, yes, they provide basically the same as what Citizens does. There are some minor differences. When it comes to claims, we don't know
We
because
don't know because we haven't had any
had a
yet.
hurricane
Thank
hit.
goodness. Knock on wood. I'm
Yeah,
going to not
yeah,
find wood to
for
knock
sure.
on.
So we don't know what it's going to look like when it comes to claims. So that's kind of it's uncharted
I
territory.
guess we'll just have to find out. Well, I don't want to find out, but
We'll
time will
find out
tell
eventually.
sometime.
So
Yeah,
it
exactly.
is inevitable. But yeah. So I mean, they are smaller companies. They are newer companies.
Yeah.
It's hard to know.
It's hard to know. But then we also have flood
Yes.
insurance, and that's
Yeah.
a whole nother
A whole nother policy. For flood insurance obviously affects us drastically down here. It is for 95% of the homes. If you have a mortgage, a bank is going to require it. And also Citizens, as one of their rules, if you have wind insurance with Citizens, they require you carry flood, regardless of whether or not you're actually in a flood zone.
They just want you to have it.
You just have to have it, so there's no dispute over what damage is what and what's covered by what. That was as a result after Irma. There was a lot of issues with was this flood
What's
damage?
considered
Was
flood?
this wind?
What's considered
Right.
wind? Yeah. Okay.
So the flood insurance covers, and this is very specific, it is included in a hurricane that flood could be involved because the storm surge from a hurricane is actually considered flood. Anything that is rising waters, even if it's caused by a hurricane, and the hurricane is what causes the rising waters, is going to be flood insurance. The water damage that's from a hurricane is going to be like your roof gets torn open and you have water pouring in from above.
Yeah.
So that's the difference there.
Above and below, right?
Yep. Flood is federally regulated, so it is backed by the National Flood Insurance Program, which is federal program that controls the rates. It controls the market. There's dozens of different companies we can write a flood policy with. Every single one's going to be exactly the same cost-wise. So
I didn't realize that.
There's no competition in the market. The difference is what carriers are easier to work with when it comes to customer service, when it comes to claims, when it comes to stuff like that. Something as simple as which website is the easiest one to navigate are the ones that we end up usually writing people with.
Okay, good. Yeah.
So that's how we operate.
And what are those are separate policy companies. So
Yes.
What are some of their names? Like you mentioned, Frontline.
Oh, there's
Citizens.
Frontline does flood as well.
Okay.
So it's nice actually. We can do a combined. You get a little package discount if you do your Frontline home and flood. But there's Florida Family does homeowners insurance and flood insurance.
Yeah.
Hartford does flood insurance. ASI Progressive does flood insurance. There's Philadelphia Wright Flood.
Quite a few.
There's dozens. Yes.
That's good to know. Well, it sounds like I know people are. You mentioned it a little bit that if you have wind, they want you to carry flood. So basically, when someone's buying a home, they just need to cover all their bases and have all three policies.
Yeah,
that's what I always tell people. And when I direct them to an insurer like yourself, that's what they end up with when they're getting a mortgage.
Yeah, when you're getting a mortgage, it's just you're going to have to do all three. It's just basically the rules of the game. When you don't have a mortgage, you have a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah, we have people that buy in the keys that pay cash, and they often what they call quote unquote, I'm doing the quote, self-insure, which means that if they end up with losing their roof, having a flooded house, they have to bear the costs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So I actually had my house flood a little bit during Ian, and I had flood insurance, and I think it was the family one. Florida Family. And they actually were easy to work with. I had never in my life had to file a claim before, and so I had to do it then, and I was very pleased with the process. Yeah. So, because you hear horror stories sometimes, but at least now I have some background, so if my clients ever need that kind of help, I can help them and direct them in the right place.
Yeah.
So what do you think is the biggest misperception or misconception that people have about insurance in general? Because you probably hear it all the time
Oh
talking to
yeah,
people.
I hear, and this I think comes a lot from what happened during Irma.
Uh-huh. Which was what, 2017?
17.
Yeah.
A lot of people basically say, I don't know why I'm even paying for it. I'm never going to get anything out of it, right?
Right.
A lot of people feel that way about
Thousands of dollars a year.
about yeah,
Tens
I'm
of
paying all
thousands.
this money for this, and it's never going to help me, even if I get a hurricane or whatever. There was, unfortunately, during Irma, a lot of claims for homes that were damaged, where people had extremely high deductibles on their wind and hurricane policies. So people were writing policies with 10% deductibles, even higher in certain cases, which meant if you have a $500,000 home,
you got to come up
with $50,000 out of pocket, and before your insurance will cover anything.
Right.
And so a lot of customers, a lot of clients for Citizens ended up getting nothing. So they had $40,000 worth of damage to their home. Their roof was torn off. They had to replace the roof. They had water damage, and Citizens said, "Sorry, your deductible's $50,000. Come back to us once you've hit that mark, and then it's time." So that became a huge issue.
Yeah.
And so that's why something that I focus on as an agent is making sure people are getting the value out of the insurance.
Okay.
The insurance is a valuable product. Not many people can come up with an extra $1 million to rebuild their house if they don't have the insurance to help with it. So I focus on the value of it rather than the cost.
So, and that comes with possibly a lower deductible.
Right. Focusing on
replacement cost, if that's like more comparable to today's market.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
Making sure we're insuring the value of replacement cost, making sure we're doing deductibles that are reasonable. If you have if you have a $25,000 deductible and you don't have $25,000 in the bank,
right,
your insurance you're in deep trouble.
Yeah. What do you see as an average, just for an average person, a homeowner in the Keys? What would be a deductible that would be
I usually recommend to everybody it's a 2% deductible.
Okay.
So it's 2% of the value of the coverage.
Okay.
So in that case, if you have a $500,000 coverage on your house, you have a $10,000 deductible.
Oh yeah.
Which is much more reasonable.
Right.
And
someone could plan for that and keep it in a savings account.
Right. Or something similar. Yes. Yeah. And that's what I usually focus on getting for people. And frankly, the cost difference is not that much when you go from like 2% to 5%. The cost of your insurance may go down $1,000 a year, but you have to go 10 years or longer, 15. In that case, if you go to a 5% deductible, then you're talking 25,000. You have to go 15 years without a claim to make up that $15,000 that one claim on your insurance could be. And 15 years in the Keys. Right. Odds are we're going to get hit by something.
So pay a little bit more, have a lower deductible,
right. And then you're saving money in the long run.
Have more peace of mind.
Yes, absolutely. So that's what I usually like to focus on is the value rather than just, well, I have to do it. The bank is telling me.
Yeah.
And then I'm not going to get anything out of it anyway. Well, if it's the wrong insurance and the wrong agent, then yes, you are not going to get anything out of your insurance.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm glad how you approach the conversation with the client, because it's better to educate people than for them to think, oh, I have to do it because someone told me I had to, rather than this is why it's a good thing for you. And you mentioned coming from the Northeast, and I know that insuring a home up there is different than down here. So what was your biggest learning curve in that situation?
Oh, I mean, just going from, a homeowner's policy, I was in Vermont for 15 years, and a homeowner's policy in Vermont can cost you $1,000 a year, and that's it.
You're done.
That's your insurance. And that covers everything.
Wow.
So down here, the learning curve is like the pricing on insurance is obviously hugely different, but it's also just the way things are split up. Having
the different policies,
having to have different policies to cover different things, and the rules around that as far as how credits are determined and all that stuff. That was the learning curve for me. Is just that's a whole
is a state thing too,
oh,
right?
Yeah. So, insurance is state by state.
Yeah,
it's all state
run by the state, regulated by the state. Wow.
Yeah,
that does shock a lot of people who move here or plan to move here when they're living somewhere like Ohio or Michigan or even Vermont, and they're not familiar with the types of climate that we have that affect our policies.
Yeah, and the first thing I do when I'm talking to people, like, and we get people from all over the world.
Yes.
First thing I do is make sure to tell them, just it's a different animal down here. This
Be
is
prepared.
not, yes, this is not the same thing. So,
So let's talk a little bit about what impacts the premium cost, the cost of insuring. So I know that I know when I was redoing my insurance that I did some things to the home with a new roof and some shutters and stuff like this that actually got me some discounts, toward the cost of my insurance. Let's talk a little bit about that.
yeah, so it's everything. It's the construction of your home. Is it a CBS home? Is it a frame home?
CBS meaning
Concrete block
for our
construction,
listeners,
yes, or masonry, yeah.
Yep.
Or is it a frame home? Is it a modular? Is it a mobile home? Like all those things obviously are factors because just the construction of the home is going to make a huge difference. What type of roof you have, how old your roof is, does it meet the current Florida Building Code standards that were set back in 2003?
Right, and that has to do with the impact of the wind, some of that, and then also that we have to have metal roofs here in Key West.
For the most part, yeah. And so it's also how they're screwed down.
Correct.
The screw pattern makes a difference if it meets the building code standards or not. The plywood decking that you have underneath, the thickness of it, and how that's screwed in. How your roof is attached to the rafters. Is it do you have just nails driven through like some of the older homes where they're called toenails, which are just 8-inch long nails that were driven straight through into the rafters? Or is it metal clips or wraps? Is it a flat concrete roof? Is it, all those sorts of things are factors. The impact to windows and doors, huge factor. The thing that people don't realize is that impact rated shutters are the same credit as impact doors and windows. So you don't get like a double credit if you have both.
Right.
And it doesn't improve.
Just take one.
It doesn't improve your rating if you have the windows and doors versus the shutters.
Correct.
But the new invention of the Kevlar fabric shutters that people are manufacturing now actually qualify as impact rated hurricane shutters and are much lower cost.
Oh, wonderful.
Speaking. So that's a new thing in the market that's been
great.
helpful. And all those credits are determined. So you have to work with a home inspector to get what's called a wind mitigation inspection. They come in and they go and take pictures of everything. They document everything, and they then work up the report that gets to us. We use that to then give you the credits and discounts on the insurance.
Yep. When we had Danny on here from Waypoint, he talked a little bit about the mitigation insurance and 4-point insurance. Yep. So you guys all work in sync with each other.
Yeah. And I know Danny well. I work with him a lot. He's great.
Yeah. And so I think some of our listeners might be thinking, well, my home was built in 1940 something. 1930 something. We are in Keys, we have a historical area. So what do you recommend to those clients? Like when they're asking, gee, my roof is nice, but should I replace it? What about clips? I probably don't have clips if it was built in the 40s.
Right. And to be frank, a lot of the homes, the older homes, don't.
Can they be?
But they can be updated.
Yes,
they can be updated. Now there are, HARC has their own rules about what you are and are not allowed to do with a historical home.
If it's a historical home, yes.
Yes, but for the most part, most of the homes can be updated. You can put on a new roof. When you put on a new roof, you can have the clips or wraps installed.
And the thicker sheathing.
Yes, and the thicker plywood sheathing can be installed. You can update your doors and windows to impact. You can get the shutters, the metal shutters or the fabric shutters, either one. All those things are huge factors, and a newer roof is going to have a better rating as far as the insurance is concerned.
So what do they give the length? What is the time on roofing now?
So it depends on the material.
Okay, well, let's say it's a metal roof.
If it's a metal roof, it's anywhere from 25 to 40 years.
Okay.
Depending. I've seen some that are 50 years old and are fine.
And they pass muster with the insurance?
Well, they pass inspections, but they don't necessarily get the same credits because they don't meet the FBC, that 2003 FBC. So, but the typical roof nowadays, metal roof, is 25 to 40 years.
That's good. Yeah. Great. Yeah. Super. Excellent. So those are things that homeowners can handle with to help them reduce their costs. So when it comes to hurricanes and wind insurance, is there anything in particular that people should know besides just getting it and getting the coverage?
unfortunately, we don't have a lot of options.
Right.
So, as far as like competition in the market goes or anything like that, it's not easy. I would say the biggest thing is making sure you are insuring your home to value.
Yeah.
Making sure you have the replacement cost coverages, making sure that your deductible is a reasonable amount that you can handle, and making sure that you are prepared.
Yeah.
Because when and if a storm comes, you have to put those shutters up. If you have that credit on your,
Preparedness is everything. Yes.
and if you have that credit on your wind insurance and you don't put the
Don't use
shutters
them.
up, then they're not going to cover you.
Right.
So
That's a good point.
That's one of the things that you have to think about.
Sure,
It's a
absolutely.
deal that you make with the insurance company that you're going to do everything reasonable to protect your home
Right.
in the event, and that's why they're giving you those credits, because you have those shutters, so it's reasonable that you would put them up and protect your home. So just stuff like that.
Yeah, that's great. We already talked a little bit about the mitigation inspections. So at what point in time, I know when I have clients coming in, it's buyers, I'm like, okay, you have to, go talk to a lender, go talk to an insurer, but actually talking to an insurance agent usually is more related to the time period when they find a home, so you know what you're insuring. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So the insurance is going to be specific to every home.
Yeah.
Your location matters, what type of home matters, obviously, etc. So we need a specific home to write the policy on. However, I always tell people, and I always tell realtors, if you have a client that's interested in looking at a home and you want to at least have some sort of guess for what the insurance could cost, come to me, tell me.
Like the location.
And I'll ask some minor details. Is it going to be a primary home or a secondary home? Is it going to be a vacation rental? What's the plan for the house? Because all of that affects rates too. And once they give me that info, I can work up some, it's their guesses, but they're informed.
But they're probably,
guesses.
I was going to say they're more informed than just,
right.
pie in the sky.
And then, once you actually have a contract on a house or an accepted offer, then it's time to get the inspector in there and get us the reports pretty much right away, because there's always the inspection period, and you want to get your insurance squared away while you're still in that inspection period.
Absolutely.
To make sure you're not stepping into something that you're not going to be able to afford.
Right. That's good. That's kind of how I like to do it. Just like, let's get it all done up front and see where we go.
Yeah.
So, is there anything else that buyers need to know when you're giving them a quote? I mean, that it's an estimate, but do you have a range, like a percentage of what you might be the actual cost and what my estimate is?
Yeah, I always try to do more, not necessarily a worst case scenario, but I'd rather under promise and over deliver than the other way around. So usually my estimates, I always tell people these estimates are probably high. Just to give you a better range.
Feel better when they save money.
Right. And it also gives them the idea of like, can I afford this? Once you have to have your budget for your insurance and your mortgage. And most people are escrowing their insurance nowadays. So your monthly mortgage payment is going to go up by $2,000 a month. That obviously affects what you can do and what you can afford with the insurance. So I do try to be a little bit above what I expect it to be when I'm giving an estimate, and I inform people of that. And I said, this could improve once we get the inspection reports. This could be much better. Yeah. With the credits and everything that we. But it's
better to be prepared for that higher cost just in case. That's where it ends up. Absolutely. And as we all know, insurance, just like taxes, tend to go up a little bit every year. So.
Well, especially in the market today. I'm sure you've seen that Citizens is now charging massive secondary home surcharges.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So those have gone up. I think it's over 40% now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
For anyone who's buying a second home in the Keys or a vacation rental, or anything that's not going to be a primary home. So it's not going to be either an annual rental or your primary home that you live in the majority of the year. Those factors are huge. I always lead with that as well. You need to know how that's going to work.
Knowing how you're going to use the home is always helpful when it comes to these situations. Yeah. Absolutely. So let's see. So how often should homeowners review their policy? I know how often I do it, but what do you recommend?
I mean, most people, they get it, they shove it in a drawer, and they don't think about it until the bill comes, right? And then it's like, why did my mortgage go up, $500 a month? Well, your escrow got adjusted because the insurance rates adjusted, et cetera. For almost everybody, if you feel comfortable reading the policy,
Mhm.
I suggest you do it every year when you get it. As far as reviewing it with an agent,
Mhm.
anytime there's major changes, you make any major changes in the cost of the insurance, there could be some change that happened on your policy that was, I don't want to say like an error, but that was done that shouldn't have been by the insurance company,
Oh.
where they can change things. They can change the occupancy accidentally. I've had customers who it's their primary home, they live there, they get their bill and it went up, $3,000. Why did my insurance go up? Well, the company thinks that it's a second home because you get your mail somewhere else,
Oh yeah, sure.
or you get and they need an
Yeah.
explanation for that. So we just need to so that anytime there's a major change, your rates go up, your coverages need to change. You made renovations on your home,
Oh,
you did
definitely on that
anything
one.
like
Yep.
that,
Yep.
yeah, any
Improvements.
improvements, anything that's like that, or life changes where you're moving from somewhere else and becoming a permanent resident of the Keys, or you're moving out and renting your house out.
What?
All that stuff.
Yeah. What about when you get that policy? I mean, those are not easy to read.
No,
So is it okay for people to call their agent and say, can you kind
absolutely.
of give me a rundown of what this really says?
Absolutely. And I'm more than happy to help out. And we have a dedicated team of service specialists who work at IOA. IOA is based out of Orlando, but dozens of different agents that you can reach and talk to who are specialized in working with Keys policies and understanding coverage in the Keys, who'd be happy to go over it and just discuss it, make sure there's nothing that needs to be changed. Just because you want to review your policy doesn't mean we're going to change anything.
Right. It may just be okay. I mean,
Right.
it just be
It
the
may,
right policy for you.
right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I noticed I can't remember which policy it is, but I was reading through mine and that said something about trampoline coverage. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah.
Why is that on there?
Though,
I'm sure there's a story behind how that got there.
well, so insurance companies are concerned, obviously, about hazards.
Yes, correct.
If you have an in-ground pool, that's a hazard. If you have, one of the most common ones that they ask about is a bike or skate ramp,
Oh,
and then trampolines, because there are more incidences of home injuries on trampolines than just about any other toy out there.
interesting. Okay.
So, and it actually is a huge, it's also what's called a strict liability. So just like an in-ground pool is a strict
Yeah.
liability, you can't have an in-ground pool and not have a fence.
Right.
If you don't have a
Okay.
fence for your pool or for your property that encloses the pool,
Right.
then you're not going to be able to get coverage from insurance companies for the most
And it
part.
has to be a locking fence.
Yes, it does. It has to be a real fence, not just one of those fabric ones that you put in and take out. And it can't just be a cover either. That's another thing that
Oh,
people
right,
don't
because
realize.
kids could fall in there.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a strict liability, which means that if you don't have that fence up, somebody walks onto your property, falls in your pool, and drowns.
You're
It doesn't
liable.
matter if they were trespassing or they were drunk or it's the middle of the night or whatever, you're liable for that drowning. Whereas if you have the fence up, you have done some mitigation in order to prevent that from happening, which makes it then not your fault at that
Right,
point.
right.
Trampoline is a strict liability because
Okay.
they're so unsafe for children, which means that you have a birthday party, a bunch of kids over,
Yep.
they're all playing on the trampoline. Johnny falls off and breaks his arm. Not only is your homeowner's insurance going to have to pay for the injuries, but those parents can then sue you
Wow.
for
Yeah.
the
Exactly.
liability.
So the trampoline coverage that I read on my policy is for that situation.
Yes, if you
Wow.
have it or don't have it,
It doesn't matter. It's part of the policy.
Yeah, yes,
That's
those are built in.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you can tell I read my policy.
yeah, absolutely, it's a good thing.
Yeah, that was curious. So, so what type of claims do you see the most here, like in the Keys?
I mean, for the last 8 years, it's homeowner stuff. It's smaller stuff.
So is that recommended?
it's-
I've often heard insurers say, "Don't sweat the little stuff. Like deal with it. Don't file a claim because a
Yes.
claim is a record."
Yes. So, and people are always complaining what I have the insurance for if I can't use it. The insurance is for big things.
Big things.
The insurance is for the hurricanes. The insurance is for a fire that burns down half your house. The insurance is for, and this is probably the most common thing I see. leaking pipes that
Oh.
cause major water damage.
Oh, yeah.
I've had clients that had over 100, 150, $200,000 in water damage in their home
Sure.
because they had AC pipes that were leaking. They had no idea.
And
It was behind the walls, right?
Yeah.
And it just leaked and leaked and leaked and leaked. And eventually there's mold, there's rot,
there's termites.
there's yeah. Eventually all that sort of stuff. So the water damage is probably the most common one we see.
Oh, okay. That's good.
And it also, but those claims do affect your rating with
Sure.
an insurance company.
Yeah.
The more claims you have, the higher your rates are going to be and the harder it is to get insurance.
Right.
A lot of companies won't write people who have, for instance, 2 claims in the last 5 years
Yep.
that are not acts of God. A wind or flood is not going to affect your rating.
Well, that's good to
an act
know
of
because
God.
a lot of people don't know that. So
Yeah.
I'm glad you stated that.
Yeah,
That
anything-
flood and wind, acts of God, are not going to affect your rating.
Yep, those don't get held against you. It's weather related. That's not your fault.
But I had heard that if you had 2 flood claims, they looked at that in the last 5 years.
So there is what is considered a high risk flood,
Particular home or area.
flood areas or homes,
Okay.
addresses really, that go onto a registry with the National Flood Insurance Program, and they have to be written specifically with the National Flood Insurance
Yeah.
Program. They're called repetitive loss risks.
Yeah. Okay.
They are written directly through the NFIP rather than through one of the carriers, like we were talking about Florida Family or Hartford. And the NFIP alone takes on that risk.
And that's the National Flood.
The National Flood Insurance Program.
Yep. Yep. Very good.
So it doesn't really affect your rating. It just affects where
The fact that that's where your house is located.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is pretty common in most of Key West. We only have a little section that are X zones, but they're still going to be required with a mortgage to have flood insurance.
they're going to be required by citizens because
Yeah.
they have the wind. Frontline doesn't require it next zone.
Oh, so that's a good point about Frontline. So,
Mhm.
so listeners, if you need insurance or you think it's time to renew yours, you can talk to Chris about what it looks like to go with another carrier outside of
absolutely.
Citizens.
Always happy to look.
Great. So any other pieces of advice that you would give homeowners? We covered a lot of ground today.
No, I mean, I think it's important to always, like I said, you want to work with the right agent and the right value on your home. Our homes are our biggest investments down here. And the value of them in the Keys is massive.
Yes.
Location,
And it
scarcity.
keeps going up.
It's all that stuff. And it is your biggest investment that
Yeah.
you'll make in your life, pretty much.
Yeah.
For 99% of us. So I always tell people it's more important to focus on the value than the cost. Like I said, you're not getting anything out of it if you are focusing on the cost.
Right.
Because it's just going to end up biting you in the butt at the end.
That's right. Yeah. A penny saved is a penny earned, really, So what is it that you love most about living in the Keys? And share with me
the
a
weather.
perfect Key West weekend.
It's got to be the weather. I lived in Vermont for 15 years.
Snow.
My God, it was so cold. Our last winter there, it didn't get above 0 for 6 weeks straight.
Oh my goodness.
Which is when I finally agreed with my wife that it was time to move. She'd been trying to convince me for years. She was a conch. So adjusting to the cold was not easy for her.
I bet.
Oh yeah, she hibernated for the first year.
And she's
Our
like, we
first
gotta
winter
go
up
back
there.
to Key
Yeah.
West.
So the weather is amazing. I mean, it's beautiful down here. I absolutely love it. That's the biggest part. The perfect Key West weekend for me, it probably involves fishing with my sons, which they love to do. Probably out on a boat. And enjoying a nice dinner out with my wife and enjoying the nightlife downtown a little bit. And then a lazy Sunday at the beach with the kids.
Nice. Very nice. Do you have a favorite restaurant? That's hard to say, right?
I don't.
A favorite 5?
I mean, I enjoy 915 a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like the new Only Woods at the Santa Maria. We just tried that out for the first time. That was pretty good. My kids love the Only Woods downtown. And
Pizza's always good. That's Only Woods.
Oh
pizza.
yeah, yep. Only Woods Pizza is fantastic. And then I know my wife likes Blackfin a lot.
Oh yeah, very good.
So
Nice,
so
good
just
selection.
a few off the top of my head.
That's right. Very good. Excellent. Well, Chris, I appreciate your time today. We're going to go into our truth or tale round in a minute, but tell our listeners your phone number and your email, how they can reach you.
Yeah, phone number is 305-537-2794. That's my office number. And then my email is just my name, chris.louchheim. So my name with a period in the middle, at ioausa.com.
Yeah, so it's Chris Louchheim, Insurance Office of America.
Yep.
All right, great. Thank you. So we have these little buttons here. We
All
have
right.
truth and tail.
All
And
right.
I'll ask you a question and you just answer truth or tail. Every homeowner in Key West needs flood insurance. And
Not
we did
true.
talk about that.
Yep.
Now, with the mortgage and Citizens, you need it.
Yep.
But other than that, there's options.
Yes.
A newer roof can save you money on insurance. And we did talk about that. Well, we talked about all these questions, so that's good. Yes, so that's a true. Homeowners insurance covers everything during a hurricane.
Yep.
Not everything.
Talked about that as well. Yeah.
Shopping your insurance every year is a smart idea. He's gonna hit both.
Yeah, I could hit both. Every year, not necessarily, but like I said, anytime there's a major change or anything happens where then it's definitely a good idea.
Yes.
And not necessarily shopping it, but reviewing it is a good idea every year.
We'll change that terminology. Impact windows can lower your premium.
Absolutely
Yay.
can.
You certainly can. Insurance should be one of the first conversations buyers have, not the last.
Absolutely true. Like we said,
early on.
Yeah, and in that inspection period is very important.
Sure is.
That's,
Yeah, you don't want to get
That's your chance to back out if you need to.
Yeah, you don't want to get caught out without not being able to afford it. The cheapest insurance policy is usually the best value.
Absolutely. We've talked about that as well.
Yes, we did. Homeowners should update their insurance after major renovations.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Yep. And waiting until the last minute to investigate for insurance is a good strategy.
Not a good strategy. It's the opposite.
Yeah, we want to do it up front. We said that. Being prepared for a hurricane season can make the claims process much easier.
Absolutely.
All right, great. Anything else you'd like to share? Thank you for doing the fast round and answering my questions.
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on.
All right, thank you. Well, this is Ruth, Keys to the Seas Realtor with Lafrena Real Estate in Key West, Florida, and you just listened to Key West Porch Talk. Catch us on the 1st and the 15th of every month for new episodes, and if you want to listen to the past ones, we're on YouTube and Spotify. See you next time.